In memory of our beloved friend JD, thank you for all the memories, lessons, and unforgettable moments. This short story is based on true events. The names have been changed out of respect to his family and those mentioned. This story is meant to spread awareness of the power of words and the importance of mental health, but above all, self-love. This story is about JD, a boy who grew up in Florida in a loving family with his mother, his father, and his younger brother. JD was fun and sweet and was well liked by all. His mother worked helping the old and sick, and his father traveled for a living. JD was a fine young man. At the time the story began, he was attending high school. In his junior year, JD met a group of friends who would change his life forever. The year was 2005. It was a typical school day. Around noontime, JD noticed a group of new students who were from another country. He introduced himself, and at that moment he knew the outsiders were very special. Summer had arrived, and JD gained the trust of his new friends. With the help of his best friend Jen, they helped the family settle into the Florida life. The Italians, as they came to be known, are a family of 6, but at the time there were only 5. There was Mama Vicky, Papa Philip, Brother John, Brother Fran, and Sister Marty. It was now the middle of summer. The breeze was blowing hot, and the sun turned the palest of skins into a golden brown. Welcome to Florida, the Sunshine State. Beaches, sand, and endless nights under the stars. The Italians were settling well. The year was on its way. Summer was coming to an end, and everything was new and exciting to their eyes. Casual friendship turned to much more. JD had found a new family and a friendship beyond his wildest dreams. Summer had turned into fall, and JD was now a new member of their family. By this time, the teens had taken up jobs. Mother Vicky would stay home and prepare amazing meals, and Father Philip worked hard all day. JD was fascinated with the friendship. He spent every minute over at their home being helpful and attentive. All was well, and before they knew it, the holidays had arrived. The family held their first Christmas in Florida. The year had come to an end, and a new one would bring lots of changes and surprises. It was March, and spring brought sad news for all. The Italian friends had to return to Italy at the end of July. They were not able to stay any longer to enjoy the Florida life. The winds of the Mediterranean were calling them home. Jen and JD were truly sad, and it was this very moment that changed JD's life. It set his path into a new course, and he would never be the same. What would become of this strong friendship? The most dreaded day had arrived. There was boxes all over, suitcases packed, and lots of tears in everyone's eyes. It was time to part. JD felt lost. He had filled his days with his Italian friends, and now the hours seemed long and empty. To make matters worse, Jen was in South America on a graduation trip, so JD was truly alone. Autumn filled the air, and the leaves began to fall. One day, Jen was staring at JD, who was laying in his sofa, sad and lost in thought. She quickly jumped up and said out loud, "If the Italians can't stay with us, we shall go to them." JD's eyes got so big, he was processing this idea in his head. Jen explained they could go visit them in Italy in the coming months. His eyes filled with joy. The light they had lost was finally coming back. JD's smile was big, and his adventurous spirit woke with fury. It was ready to embark into what would be the time of his life. The sky was dark and the lights began to disappear in the distance as the plane took off. Up in the air they went to visit their friends. The crisp, cool air said it all. It was December once again, but this time they would celebrate Christmas the Napolitan way. JD and Jen were overwhelmed with the loads of delicious foods on the tables, the warm welcome, and the kind gestures from all the Italian friends and family who had arrived to see the Americans on their prima volta in Italy. A day turned into a week, and a week into a month. The sights they saw, the food they ate, and oh, the people they met. How fascinating. It all seemed surreal, like a movie. How could a country shaped like a boot, with a leaning tower and a city built on water, be so magical? It must be the food, the richness and culture, and all the love. Now that's amore. Time just flew by and the trip came to an end. The tears flowed from JD's face and they got bigger and bigger. They could fill an ocean. JD had the time of his life and he would never be the same again. His style, his confidence, and his heart were shining. JD returned home with stories from Italy of all the lovely people he met and all the experiences he had. JD found a family he adored and knew he had to return again to relive that magical feeling only Italy could provide. In the years that followed, the Italians visited Florida, and JD and Jen returned to Italy as well. The friendship was strong and set to withstand the test of time, or so they all thought. As time passed, JD had many trips under his belt. He became an international traveler, an adventurer, a true conquistador. He stole the hearts and smiles of everyone he met. His list of friends abroad became long. His passion for finding new worlds and becoming anyone he wanted to be made him a magnet for all kinds of friends. JD would report back home to Florida, where Jen would wait for updates of his latest adventures. JD would often and unexpectedly pop up at the Italians' home in Tuscany. By this time, they had completed their family with the youngest Italian, baby Dan. JD loved to shower everyone with gifts and affection. Here is the part where things take a turn for our dear friend JD. His adventures came to a halt when he finally settled in Germany. He was making great progress with the language and became a regular in the town of Cologne. Everything seemed great on the outside, but he struggled deeply with a secret, and soon it would lead to his demise. There was a secret, and JD was not doing well with keeping it all inside. Something was eating at him, and his mental state was taking a toll. He struggled with dark thoughts of being disliked. He felt shame and was afraid of being disowned. Time was running out, and he fell into a deep depression. A cold wind blew outside his window. There was quiet all around. The year was now 2014. JD knew he had to make contact with Jen back in Florida. It was the holidays and he didn't want to bring in the new year alone. JD wanted someone to endure the cold with. Jen knew her friend needed her, so she quickly boarded a flight to Germany. JD was very happy to see his friend Jen. They spent a lot of time sightseeing and catching up. She finally understood what lay behind his worried eyes. JD confessed he was struggling because he liked his same kind, or as the world calls it, he was gay. Jen quickly reassured him that being gay was nothing to be worried about, and that wouldn't change him or the way people saw him. Still, JD struggled and things got worse by the constant rejection and harsh feelings from his mother. All he wanted was the approval of the woman he dearly loved. JD turned from a vibrant and adventurous person to mysterious and often distant. His personality changed and his mental and physical health took a hit. As time went by, everyone had grown up and began to start a family. JD felt a bit left out. He also wanted a steady relationship. He wanted to belong. Everyone he knew was all of a sudden busy, building their lives, and things were not the same. The magic he once felt began to slowly fade. JD felt as if he was alone, misunderstood, and suddenly no one cared. JD held many relationships, but they led nowhere. He allowed the fear of rejection and constant arguments with his mother damage his confidence. He was not able to offer the same friendly and welcoming family to any of his partners. He simply didn't feel good enough. At the end of 2018, JD was no longer the same. His world was upside down and his soul was tormented with insecurities and health issues. He was no longer able to keep his light shining. JD decided to ghost all his friends and block everyone he deeply cared for. There were no explanations. 2 years went by and no one had heard of JD, not even Jen. All his friends tried to write, message, or call to no avail. JD was gone. His friends waited for him, but eventually they gave up. His friends thought perhaps one day he would surprise them again, come prancing in unannounced and bring them all his infectious joy and laughter. Days turned to years, and at last there was news. It was on a cool March day in 2022. The sun had set, taking with it JD's precious life. He passed away on a hospital bed with no one around. The news spread like fire in the days after. The shock and disbelief was felt all over the world. Friends and family woke up to the sad news, shaking and weeping. Our dear JD had left without a final goodbye. He used the last of his lifetime hiding in the shadows of the joyful boy he once was. His friends will never know what prompted such changes and silence all those years. JD was gone, and with him all the answers and hopes to find the reason why he had blocked so many who loved him. If only he could see and hear once again the love and support he always had. JD's spirit will live on in everyone's hearts, and his story will be eternal as a reminder to all who read this that life is precious and we must live free of judgment and mental chains caused by others. Prejudiced words weigh heavy on our minds and chip away the brightness and passion in our eyes. JD developed many health issues, including eating disorders from the anxiety and constant fear of rejection. He died of heart failure at a young age. One word is enough to cause a lifetime of grief and sometimes death. Let us all practice kindness, or at the very least, tolerance for our fellow brothers and sisters. One must learn the power of love, the weight words can carry, and the damage that ill-willed actions can leave for others to bear. All we say and do can go far and beyond what we could ever imagine, and it all comes back full circle when we least expect it. Hi friends, thank you for reading this illustrated story. We hope you will continue to follow us and enjoy reading true life experiences of close ones who have now departed. We look forward to sharing weekly stories that carry lessons and messages to reflect and inspire good and positive thinking for all. Please hit the subscribe and like button if you enjoyed reading about our friend JD. This story was partly illustrated by Elizabeth. You can follow and like her page on Instagram. Until next time, you are all loved, you are abundant, and you are important. We will also upload podcasts on our YouTube channel if you wish to follow us. Until next time, friends, thank you and bye-bye.